Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I am your host, Patricia Baker, and we are getting close to Halloween. It is October 25th. Oh, my goodness. And it's Spooky October on Supernatural Girls. And PK, how are you doing tonight?
Doing fine. Taking a look at some things for our listeners. Just taking a look at our numbers today, and I thought, the first vowel, first consonant of our name say so much about all of us. So I thought, well, I would give a little brief of if your first initial, which is one of the most important for us, is an A, J, or an S, that person is very independent. They're a super achiever. They like to be leaders. They like pioneering and doing things different. If your first letter is a B, K, or a T, you're more cooperative, very sensitive. You like harmony and meditation. If it's a C, L, or a U as the first letter, you're very self-expressive, joy, a lot of enthusiasm, something to do with the arts, very optimistic and creative. And if it's a D, M, or a V, organization, service to others, hard work, definitely that. If it's an E, N, or a W, very expansive, a good vision, a variety, like excitement, and very creative. If it's a F, O, or X, you like balance, responsibility, love, and support, like to nurture, take care of the community and service whatever you can. And the GPY is a 7, and the analysis of understanding, introspection, seeking the truth, very spiritual also, like to be understood and like to understand. If it's an H, Q, or a Z, material fulfillment is very important, as are your accomplishments, but you're very practical about things. Power and recognition are important. And if it's an I or an R, selfishness, humanitarianism, obligations, and compassion, and very creative for the community at large. So I just take a good look at what your first letter of your name is. That gives you a little bit of info of who you are.
Little insight. Can't have too much of that, right?
Isn't that the truth? For sure. But
yes.
I thought that would be a good place to start. And I think the different shows, I'm going to add a little bit to this so people can take a look at who they are in a different way.
I think that's great. Thank you for doing that. And everybody, if you would like to have a personal reading with PK, you can get to her from our website, supernaturalgirls.com. You will find her email address and website, and also you can go directly to her website. It's an easy one, patriciakirkman.com. So I like having all the information I can possibly get. I don't think we can have too much in this crazy world. So,
for sure.
Good place to start is with your numbers.
For sure.
And I also wanted to tell everybody to go to our homepage because we have wonderful self-empowering health devices and some liposomal vitamins there. Take a look at them all. We've got energy for a new kind of photosynthesized oxygen. We have Dr. Weber's laser devices, which are affecting everything positively like Alzheimer's and viruses. He has a special laser virus program. So lots of things to look at there to put the health back into your own hands, everybody. I mean, doctors are great. In fact, I have one on with us tonight. But it's really helpful if you make good lifestyle choices and then you back it up with good diet, and good support. And that's what we're giving you on that homepage. We do not sell any of these, but we are putting them on our webpage, and we negotiate a discount for you guys. So if you want to buy anything there, then you go ahead and buy it. You will get a discount automatically. So that's our gift to you. We're going to keep looking around for all kinds of leading-edge health products, and you can get yourselves back on track if you're not on track. So tonight, let's get to the good stuff.
Yes. I'm ready.
We've had some very spooky stories on this show. Some very haunted houses, and the people that have lived in them have come on the show and described in great detail what has happened. But tonight we have a very special guest with us who has had an experience that started in a hospital and then followed him home. So you know how hard it is for professionals like doctors to talk about things like this, because their reputation is at stake. Their profession is at stake when they bring this to light. But this doctor, Carmine Crispino, is very courageous. And he was on the Travel Channel, Haunted Hospitals, on two of the television shows that they had, one on season 2, one on season 3. And he is going to tell us tonight all about what happened to him. This cost him a lot. It cost him his first marriage. His wife was not able to deal with what was happening, but I'm going to let him tell it. But first, a little bit about Dr. Crispino. He is an internal medicine specialist in New London, Connecticut, so right around the corner from me. He graduated with honors in 2001, and he has more than 22 years of diverse experience, especially in internal medicine, and he's a hospitalist also. So Dr. Carmine Crispino affiliates with many hospitals, including Lawrence and Memorial Hospital, Yale New Haven Hospital, Westerly Hospital, and he also cooperates with many other doctors and specialists in medical groups in the Hospital Medicine Association, LLC. So this very courageous doctor is here with us tonight. Dr. Crispino, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Good evening. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Our delight.
Yes, and
no, thank you. Just want to say, big fan of the podcast. I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're honored. We really are. We appreciate the fact that you listen to us regularly and that you're here with us to tell this incredibly upsetting story that you have survived. You are a survivor of this, and you're still a doctor, which is a good thing. So please start at the beginning, and let's start way back. Let's start before you became a doctor. Did you ever have any paranormal experiences as a child or as a young adult? Anything?
Well, yes. It started, I would say, when I was probably around 3-4 years old. I would, thinking of it now as a 53-year-old physician, way back then, it seems like there's this common thread. I would have these, what I thought at the time were nightmares. I would wake up and see in the corners these black figures, and they would laugh. And I would swear that when I was a kid, I would swear they were dreams, and I would try to wake up and wake myself up. But, really thinking about it, I think whatever these entities are started some type of attachment with me as a child. That happened for a few years as a 4 to maybe a 6 or 7 year old, and then it kind of went away and kind of led to normal teenage years. Went to Queens College, was a high school teacher, switched over to medical school. Had a normal life at the time. Wife, children, work, until that fateful day when things really kind of went off the rails for me, both personally and professionally.
Gosh. So it started with the dark figures that you saw, like what, in the corner of your room? That kind of thing?
Yeah, I would think I was dreaming, and I try to wake up. Then I realized, you know what, I'm not. This is something. And then I'd scream or yell for my parents, and then it would kind of go away. Or if I put the lights on, it would be gone. But it was always more than one, and more times than not, you'd hear an odd, I call it a laughter. I don't know how to describe it. It was not a pleasant feeling for the eyes or the ears. It was just quite, really, it was terrifying as a child.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, but luckily, he said as I got old, maybe I grew out of it. I don't know. Maybe I just kind of closed myself off to that. You know, as you grow older, you're more interested in the world around you. I think it kind of just went to the wayside until something happened in the hospital, which kind of, I think, reopened a closed door.
Yes. Now tell us what happened. This is so well done. I got to tell everybody in the audience, you should watch this particular episode. It was extremely well produced. And Dr. Crispino, you were a great interview. So you took us from one place to the other to the next with everything that happened, and I was on the edge of my seat. So, but please start with that opening scene. I mean, you were in the hospital treating a patient, an elderly patient.
Sure. Yeah, I was an elderly hospice patient at the end of his life. Private room, no family in there. I was doing my routine rounds in the morning, looking at vital signs and speaking to the nurses. And then, it's just the two of us in the room. I'm evaluating him. He's sedate, resting comfortably. As one approaches the end of this life, it's nice to keep them as comfortable as possible. And he seemed, from a medical point of view, perfectly comfortable. I was about to leave the room when, out of nowhere, he sat bolt upright, literally just sat up 90 degrees and screamed, "They have no eyes." And he pointed to the foot of the bed. It scared me. It really startled me. I'm like, what's wrong? And then I looked with him. I saw nothing. He was terrified. They have no eyes. He kept shouting that. And then he laid back down and expired. He passed away right then and there.
Oh, my goodness.
It was I didn't know at the time what was to come, but at the time I was like, goodness gracious, what a terrible experience. What a terrible way to have the last moments of your life. Little did I know, there was a lot more, unfortunately, more to come.
Yeah. Now, in the show, I say this correctly? They portrayed it as him not dying.
Oh, he expired a little bit after that, yeah.
A little bit after, okay.
Yeah, that day he expired soon after.
Oh, okay. All right, because I thought, am I watching the same show? All right. Yeah. I know they take license with your story. So, anyways. But
they did a great job. But, yeah, he sat up, and then he laid back down, and within minutes he expired.
Oh, my goodness. So it's not the same as in a hospice situation where people go, oh, we saw the angels, and it was a wonderful, peaceful passing. It was the opposite.
It was the opposite. I've never seen anything like it before or since. It was really disturbing.
Yeah. Now, when he screamed and pointed, and they have no eyes, did you physically feel anything? Any temperature change in the room, or your hair standing up on end, anything?
At the time, I did not really appreciate anything because I was just so startled. Just just the screaming, the yelling. It's just such an atypical presentation that's something you don't expect.
Right.
So at that point in time, no, I did not. Just because my mind was on, oh my goodness gracious, this poor man.
Yeah. Now, may I ask, since we don't know his name, obviously, what did he die from?
He had a malignancy.
Okay, so he had cancer. Okay.
Yeah, it's just an end-of-life thing.
Yeah, because he was an elderly person. He was, in his 80s?
He was in his 80s. It was, it was expected. Dementia, cancer. So at that point, it was just a matter of days before he would pass. But usually they pass quite peacefully. But
exactly.
He did not. Gee, yeah, this was a little different than the norm, that's for sure.
So this is the beginning. What happened after that? What was the next experience that you had?
It came on, I would say, insidiously, gradually. Ever since that day, things just didn't sit well with me. I just didn't feel right. I felt uneasy, unsettled. Then I noticed on normal rounds, I would see a patient and doing my normal thing, examining, etc. Then something would catch the corner of my eye. I would see something moving, and then I'd look and I wouldn't see anything. Really didn't make much of that. But it started becoming more frequent, and then these little bursts of movement started to become more formed, more of a shape. I would start to notice a shadow-like figure. That's how it started. Within, I would say, a day or two, these little movements in the corner started to become much more apparent, much more real. I would look, and you'd see a shadow of a humanoid figure, kind of a head, arms, legs, but you couldn't discern any features. And it would be there for, a second or two, and then it would disappear. And this started that way probably for a few weeks. It would start with one, and it would be, like I said, a quick presentation, but over the next several weeks, you'd see more than one. And you'd see them not in one corner. You'd see them in two corners or on the side of the wall. And they would stay there a lot longer than, a split second. It would be several seconds, sometimes up to 10 seconds, and then it would go away. And that's when I knew something was wrong, and I was potentially having a problem here.
And were you able to take any photographs of it?
I did not at the time. I didn't even, of course, playing Monday morning quarterback, I should have. At the time, I was just so taken aback by it. I didn't think to at the time,
Yeah.
And I didn't. And the thing was, okay, I'm seeing these things, but who am I going to tell? I'm not going to tell nursing staff or my colleagues, hey, I'm seeing shadow people, for lack of a better term. I kept that to myself.
Yeah, because it's too. That's even more frightening. Is trying to tell somebody about this.
Right. So, like, what's going on here? So I start seeing these things. Now it's a daily. Initially it was maybe a semi-daily basis. Then it became a regular basis where I'd see them on a daily basis, where it would be more than one there for a lot more, for a lot longer period of time. And then, as you said earlier, then I started noticing a change in temperature. It seemed that the longer they lingered, the room would get cold. And then when they disappeared, the room would warm up. But it was palpable. If someone just kind of put their air conditioning on for a few seconds, you'd feel a shiver, you'd get chilly, and then it would disappear, and then the room would just warm up again. That's when I knew I was...
That's interesting. Yeah, that's when you knew you were being
that's when I knew I was... Yeah, I felt at that point, oh boy, something's really going on here. And that's when I started to reach out to colleagues of mine, friends of mine, I should actually say acquaintance, who dealt with paranormal activity, paranormal investigation, just to kind of help me make sense of what was going on.
So now they're in your house, and you are still hearing them at the hospital?
Yeah, so what happened was, it was just at the hospital initially. And then I noticed I was home one day, no one was home in the house, I was cleaning up, and then I noticed those figures again, but this time in my daughter's room. And so I asked for I reached out to my friend who does paranormal investigation when they were at the hospital, but when they started entering my home, that's when I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to. I felt I couldn't reach out to my colleagues. So that's when I reached out to my friend who was a paranormal investigator to help me make some sense of what was going on.
And at what point did your wife also feel that something was wrong? Something was there in the house with her and you?
So, right. So initially, I didn't say much in the hospital. I didn't know what to say. So I basically kept it to myself initially. When I started noticing them in the home, that's when I had to come clean. I said, look, something's been going on. I had to sit her down. I said, something's been going on at the hospital. I don't know what it is. And I explained what it was. And I said, now I see them here. And now things have kind of ramped up. They're making their presence known. But that was it. They would just make their presence known initially. You wouldn't hear anything. They would just be there. But it was a very heavy presence with them around. And then it came to a point where my wife started feeling it. And that unfortunately didn't go well. I get into that a little bit later, but that's when things started really picking up. They'd be in the hospital. They'd be in the home. They would reach out to my friend. We went for coffee to talk about things. And that's when my phone was literally thrown across the room. That's when things started becoming physical.
So it was more poltergeist activity. Now, didn't you also have your stethoscope ripped off your neck and thrown around the room?
Yes, thank you. Yes, geez. That happened just before my phone was thrown. I was sitting with a patient. Thanks for sometimes I get it's been a while, so sometimes I get the timeline a little off.
Sure.
But this happened around 2018 or so. I was in the patient's room, sitting down, talking about his case, almost ready to go home. At that point, I look up because I feel a little bit of a temperature change. I look up, the patient sees it, I see it. But there, at least I felt some type of indication, like, okay, I'm not going crazy. Someone else sees this.
Yeah.
And when he saw it, I saw it, my stethoscope was flung off my neck. That's kind of the beginning of when things started becoming, I guess, more of a poltergeist. I guess that's the way you would describe it, or of a poltergeist activity. Yeah. So I never was injured. It was things like would be thrown, like my stethoscope was thrown off my neck.
Right.
My phone was thrown across the room. And again, you feel it get really cold, as if maybe they're drawing heat for energy. I don't know. And then they would something would happen. Something would be thrown. Again, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish by that. I don't know if they were trying to communicate with me, but it was always a feeling of dread. It never felt as if something friendly was reaching out to me.
Yeah. So, it didn't feel like something you wanted to have a conversation with.
No, it did not.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so it's at that point where I didn't know what to do. My friend was helping me. He'd come to the house. He used sage, different prayers. I didn't know what to do. So, again, I grew up a Catholic Christian background. I started, in the home at least, playing Christian podcasts. I thought maybe if this is some type of evil, demonic activity, maybe this would help me get rid of it. And it did help initially a little bit. At least I noticed a decrease in activity in the home. That's for sure.
Oh, so it did help. Oh, good.
A little bit, yeah. In the beginning, it definitely did. But unfortunately, I said, because this activity was in the home, my wife was really freaked out, and I don't blame her. But having said that, the kids never sensed anything.
Really?
They never once.
That's unusual.
Never once. It's strange. You'd think the kids would really pick up on this.
Yes.
They were teenagers, but they didn't pick up on it. It was like I was the only one seeing this. My wife saw it a few times, but in the home, they usually I'd say I don't know, would present themselves usually when I was alone. That was more times than not in the home. At work, they would kind of around.
So you could feel them following you as you were visiting your patients.
Oh, yeah.
talking to your patients?
They were always there.
Didn't you,
I'm always kind of. Yeah.
Didn't you also see one of them appear in your daughter's room?
I did, but she wasn't in there when it happened.
She wasn't there. Yeah.
Thank goodness. No, thank goodness. But that's kind of where I said, you know what, I have to do something. So I was desperate. I just started playing podcasts and Sunday lectures, things of that nature, to maybe just to bring some positivity, God, for lack of a better term, into the home, thinking that might help. Maybe an angelic, a good presence versus what I was feeling was definitely a negative entity, or entities, I should say.
Yeah, and you keep saying that. So you felt the presence of more than one. So it had to be at least 2 or 3 that you were sensing, like a little tribe of them coming to visit.
Yeah, you'd see a few, yes. And they were almost about the same size, but, maybe that 6 foot, 7 foot roughly height, kind of similar dimensions to a big person. But just strange, really strange. I'm sweating just talking about it now because to be honest, I'm afraid to talk about it. Because because things have been pretty quiet for a while, and I'm afraid, just speaking of it, I'm afraid I might start something again. It's really disturbing.
Sure. Yeah, because you're putting attention on it. So that's, we understand exactly what you're saying. But let's put some energy out there now that what we're doing is bringing this to the light. So this conversation is all about understanding it and bringing things forward so that there's no more torment with any of it. I mean, certainly, PK, you and I can understand, the level of torment that comes with this, because there's also a lot of uncertainty. You don't know when this thing's going to show up, where it's going to show up. Is it going to be more poltergeist activity? Is it going to pull the bedclothes off you and your wife at night and show up at the end of your bed? Or what is it going to do next? So there's that. And then there's the unknown, and there's the fact that you're a doctor. You have prominence in the community, and you don't want to lose your standing as a professional, because that's definitely a high-risk situation. Yeah.
Definitely.
No. Especially, when they asked me to do haunted hospitals, I didn't want to do it for quite a while. I was like, I don't know. People are going to see me. Yeah, initially, people just not make fun, but just kind of make a joke of it. There's the doctor sees ghosts, or, that kind of thing. I go, oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah.
But I felt it was important to get my story out there.
I agree.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what they are. But I just thought maybe by getting out there, sharing my story, other people could share stories with me or inspire others to speak up. I just don't know. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, well, good for you. And believe me, we understand it is not an easy thing to do. I mean, we've talked to a number of people, doctors, professors, professors who lost their position because they were talking about things that the universities did not want them to talk about. So, this is a very tough situation. And here you are supporting a family. You couldn't, not only could you not afford this from a professional, this is who I am kind of point of view, but also you're the support for your family. And you couldn't lose that. Yeah, so there's just so much going on. But I have a question for you as I'm thinking about this. Let me just ask this before you go on, because I know there's a lot more to the story. But usually this kind of experience is happening in families. And I'm talking about intergenerational. So your parents, your grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, somebody in there either, I would say, had to be having psychic experiences or had some kind of ability. Are you aware of anybody in your family like that?
So that's a great question. I was adopted, so I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Really?
I was adopted as an infant. Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I thought of that many times. Geez, there's some connection, some hereditary, some genes, something. I don't know. was never able to get to the bottom of that.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you,
So who knows?
one doctor we would like to put you in touch with, if you'd like, is Dr. Kolbaba. Remember him, PK? He wrote a book, Miraculous Experiences and How Doctors Are Hesitant to Talk About Them. He wrote a whole book about it. And he was saying, again, just what you're saying, how hard it is for doctors to share these experiences, yet there are many doctors who have paranormal experiences with their patients. So, anyways, we'll make sure that you get his contact information. I think that would be a great contact for you. And I know that Dr. Kolbaba is planning on writing a second book. So he may want to include your experience as well. But it does.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely put you in touch with him. But it definitely feels like this to me, that it's coming from your genetic past. And so there's no way for you to get that information, huh? Is it a closed adoption? And they just refuse to give you the records?
Yeah, I can always take another look at this. I'm fascinated by it. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, and go ahead, PK. It is unknown. Yeah, and yet it's something's knocking at the door here. It's interesting because so far, it's on the edge. It's not like you said. You were never harmed, but it was doing things to get your attention, and it did cost you your marriage, which is very unfortunate and very sad.
It was terrible.
But that at the same time, we know other people who've been truly physically tormented, harmed, scratched, beaten up, thrown down the stairs, all kinds of things. Thank God that didn't happen to you or your family.
No, just lost a lot of sleep at night, wondering what's going to happen next.
I guess so.
Right. That's right.
That's for sure.
But,
to this day, I still have trouble sleeping. I truly believe I have a little bit of PTSD from this.
Sure.
I felt totally helpless, and speaking to a few professionals in this area, they felt that possibly some portal, for lack of a better term, something was open when that poor man was at the end of his life, and he was screaming that they have no eyes, and he was fearful. A lot of the people I've been in contact with felt that something happened right then and there, because soon after is when all the experiences started happening.
Oh, yeah. That was the point of origin for all of that to move forward. However, you did see shadow figures when you were a child, so there's something way back then. And usually when children see that kind of thing, there is some genetic line of continuum. And so, it would be, I urge you to try to find out your origins, because that may answer a lot of questions. I've worked with a number of people as a psychotherapist who I knew had some type of shamanic lineage. And they're like, no. And come to find out, yes, grandma was a healer. Take it further back, and we found a shaman from the Russian area, the Ural Mountains. So it's just that a lot of us don't know, what's back there. Right. We only think of our parents, grandparents, but there's more to it than that. And that lineage can be very powerful and can affect us in ways we just don't understand. So,
of course,
gosh,
genetics are
you're a major
powerful
mystery.
Thing. I guess so. But luckily, not so luckily. I had these terrible experiences, divorce, and I said, for whatever reason, the kids were not affected. They knew everything that was going on, but they were never affected, thank goodness, even to this day. And then things started settling down. I would start seeking out the advice again of some professionals, in the paranormal area of expertise, and just try to improve on my again, I'm quoting the professionals, increase your vibration, your frequency, positive outlook, good, put good energy into the world. And I started doing that. And little by little, these things started to dissipate. Maybe they were just not interested in me. Maybe I wasn't giving them the negative feedback they were looking for. I don't know. But it kind of settled down for about a year or two. And then, unfortunately, things really started picking up when COVID hit the first time around.
I wonder why that was. Now, is it because – tell us why. Why did that happen then?
So, when COVID first, came, the first time and during the lockdown, I was assigned to the COVID unit. So I took care of exclusively COVID positive patients. And that was just a really negative time. We didn't understand the process. Family members were not allowed to come see their loved ones. People were dying. It was just really a dark time for our country and for medicine.
Right.
And that, and so here I am all gowned up in the room with the patients, either in the ICU or the medical floor. And guess what shows up? I start seeing these things again. These shadow creatures or beings, I don't know what to call them, started showing up. But this time it was kind of like shadow beings on steroids. There was, instead of like 2 or 3, there'd be like a half a dozen to a dozen of them along the wall. And then patients would start seeing them. And this is where I kind of got a little validation because we had an incident in the ICU where we actually had to have a priest come in and exorcise the room. It got that bad.
Oh, my gosh.
Very.
Yeah.
So what was happening? What exactly was going on? So these shapes are showing up, and they're big shapes. They're not small.
They're big
You
shapes.
said they were
There's more
looming.
than one. And here's what started happening. This is where I get a little bit, and I'm not looking for validation, but it's nice to get some.
Oh,
Patients
God,
were like, patients, usually it would be more at nighttime, middle of the night, patient would ring for the nurse, there's men in my room. The nurse like, there's no one in your room. You're fine. You're sick. Go to sleep.
Right.
But this started happening on a nightly basis. Yeah, it's 2 in the morning. You're like, oh, go back to bed. You're fine.
Right.
Until the nurses would be at their stations and they would start to hear. Now, some of these rooms were empty. They would start to hear their names called from empty rooms. Yeah. So now really things started ramping up.
Yes.
We would start, myself, when I do an overnight, you'd hear, and I'd heard it, you'd hear a nurse's name being called from an empty room. And then something would move.
Did it sound like a male voice, a female voice? Did it have any characteristics?
It was a deep, for the best I can describe it, a very deep, almost guttural, almost as if an animal was trying to speak English. It was inhuman, but it spoke English. And it would call your name, and something would move. And this happened specifically in one room. It was room 6, where these things would happen. So I was like, oh, my goodness gracious, what are we going to do with this? So we reached out. That morning, one of the local priests came by just for rounds, and we kind of ran by him the scenario. And he said, you might have some type of entity, some evil entity, potentially demonic. So I will send it to you. We have audio. So we put a camera in the room for the night, a video camera with the audio. Nothing in the video, but the audio was the series of inhuman growls.
Oh.
Incredibly, inhuman growls. I can send it to you. The next morning, we shared it with the priest, and he said, oh, my goodness, that's a demon. That's what he said. I don't know what it was, but he said, this is definitely demonic, and what you need to do is seal off that room. No one can go in that room. So he put a crucifix in the room, and we literally put yellow tape, like the police tape, across
like
the
crime
front of the room to go in. Yep, thank you. And he and his partner came back, and they started the process to exorcise the room. And, oh, boy, it was amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Things started to move. You'd see these, not as clear, but you'd see these beings again. They'd kind of come and go, kind of phase in and out. It took about maybe a half hour. And if you see the Haunted Hospital episodes, we all saw this, something else. And I know you think I'm crazy, but this was witnessed by others. Some type of small...
No, we don't think you're crazy.
Thank you. I think I am talking about this.
Definitely
and it was
not.
witnessed by others. This small brown thing. It almost looked like, I don't even know, like, I can't even... some type of hybrid between like a goat and an ape, something strange. I've never seen it. But it was small, and it was in the corner, and they were praying over, and then it would just kind of phase in and out, just briefly for a few seconds. They saw it, I saw it, and the nurses saw it, and then it was over, and never had an issue since. But I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that was a demonic thing, but it was, at least for me, some validation that I wasn't seeing these things. But I attribute that to COVID. I just think there's so much sorrow and death and just depression and just these negative feelings, I think really brought something out.
Yes, I agree. I think that was a horrible time, and people felt very out of control. I mean, something
Completely.
else was pulling the strings with this whole
Yeah,
event.
I think so.
And
hopelessness.
Yeah.
You know, people are dying and family members can't go be with them. It was just terrible. So, so I had experienced the uptick in these beings. Others had experienced, but this was different, if I may. Again, I'm no expert. I'm a physician. I go with, the objective data, the X-rays, the blood work, that kind of stuff. I don't,
Right.
Science. So I can't discern, but these things were different. Like those shadow type things were real. But then there was that other thing, which I don't know what that other thing was. I have to go by what the professionals, the priests, what they go by. But it was that was different, and a high negative energy entity, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy time.
Yeah, and yes, and again, you did have a lot of validation because the nurses saw it, the patients saw it,
yes.
the priests.
Yes.
So there's a lot of agreement that something's peeking through from another dimension, and
exactly.
So the priests identified it as demonic because of the growling, which is certainly quite possible. And it's good that it stopped. They did good work, these two priests, so they were able to seal the door. Literally and multidimensionally.
Yeah, that's what the more, I started, again, after these activities, I start looking into things, try to study what are we really dealing with. We have 5 limited senses. There's a whole world out there that we can't see. So trying to research, and I think you're onto something, especially with these interdimensional type beings. I think that could be a big part of it. And not all of them are nice.
No. It's a lot like people. Not all people are nice. So, whether we're talking about the Fae, the fairies, or we're talking about Bigfoot, or we're talking about ghosts.
Right.
I mean, there's a wide range here. And what makes it so difficult for a lot of people is they don't have the experience and the discernment to know one from the other, and how to work with these other energies that are coming through. Yeah, and so it makes it very challenging. And they obviously were interested in you. So,
for whatever reason, I think I'm a pretty boring guy, and I say that in a good way. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I've always had a big imagination. I'm open to lots of things. I want to learn, but I guess something reached through for whatever reason. But and like you said about discernment, I've done some research. I've done some. I don't want to call them ghost hunts, but I've done some research in homes and establishments. But again, I don't have that power of discernment, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to do much, because I don't know what I'm dealing with and what I might be opening myself up to.
Right, and let me just add something to this. So you said you don't have that power of discernment. I'm going to say yet, and I'll tell you why. when I was a child, I used to see these entities in the corner of my room. And it scared the living crap out of me. Yeah, I was scared to death. And I would wake up screaming. My poor mother would have to come and, sit with me in my room. But I would see them. And they were very frightening to me. I didn't know what they were. I was very young. I was 5, 6, 7 years old. But I guess I didn't grow out of it. I kind of grew into it. So I was able. Yes, I was able to discern a lot of things with practice. And not everything is in your best interest. Not everything is coming in to help you. However, in your situation, I would take a guess, an educated guess, that you came in as a multidimensional person, which means that you have that inherent ability. Not everybody has that ability. I mean, I hear what people say, oh, yeah, everybody's psychic and everybody. No, they're not. That's just my opinion. Some people have an inherent ability to see into other dimensions and to experience other dimensions, and they've got it. And some of them are lucky enough, like I know PK has a dear friend named George who's lucky enough to grow up in a family that encouraged it. He became a very powerful medium known all over the world. But a lot of people, just don't know what to do with it. So they back out of it. Yeah. They shut it down. They go on, like you said, and just spread their wings in the world. But if there is something in your lineage, you're not going to get away from it. It's going to come looking for you. Sure. So, and not in a terrible way, but in a startling way because you're not expecting it. And yes, I agree completely that with that elderly man who was passing, something broke open. And they saw you. They saw you. So I was like, oh, there he is.
For whatever reason,
Yeah,
but it led me on quite a journey. I mean, yes, it was terrible, but I am enriched for it. I cannot deny. I am enriched. I'm privy to the veil, for that kind of cliche term. The veil's been lifted a little bit. I got to see a little bit of something more than what most people see.
Yeah, and it can be frightening. And again, a lot of it is because you're not used to it. You're not used to having these experiences. But I will bet any amount of money that it's in your lineage and that those things saw you. And they like being noticed, too. A lot of them aren't unlike us. We like to wave and have somebody wave back. Sure. It's just that, what they're appearing as doesn't look friendly. It looks, large and powerful. And certainly the growling doesn't help.
Yeah, no, that was. I felt that was. No, that was not pleasant. But again, we didn't hear it. It's funny. I guess that's kind of like the EVPs. You couldn't hear it with your ear. You heard it when you played it back. I don't know why that is.
Yes, that's incredible. Yeah, it's on a different frequency.
I'll send you the audio file. Yeah.
And we'll play it for our audience too.
It was funny, I guess, not funny, but funny because we just like, okay, Father John, here's the audio. He's like, oh, that's a demon. Like, oh, that's the color blue. Like, he was like, yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
He's like, we'll be back.
Yeah. Right, and he's had
he's had a ton of experience. He's like, you have no idea. Yeah. Because this is New London. It's kind of an older town, kind of an old, sea town there. And I was like, well, do you have a lot of these? He's like, you have no idea. Like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, he calls it a demon. I don't know what to call it. I'm just going to call it something I can't explain.
Yes. I mean, again, you kept using your background as a scientist and as a physician to try to put this in some order.
I was trying. I have no tools to measure this. I mean, yeah, sure, we used a recorder, kind of crude instrumentation, but I don't even know what I'm dealing with. So since I don't know what I'm dealing with, I couldn't possibly have the right to measure this. So I don't. That's kind of my conundrum. It's frustrating. I want to learn about this, but I don't know how to proceed because I don't even know what I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, you must be an intuitive person. I'm going to take that guess too, an educated guess. I bet that your intuition helps you tremendously in your profession as a doctor with your patients.
It's funny you should say that. I just had a discussion earlier today with one of my colleagues. I go with my gut. I mean, obviously, I look at all the data, I examine the patient, but at the end of the day, I go with my gut. It has served me right.
Yeah.
And whenever I go against my gut, I get burned.
Yeah.
Whatever that's worth.
Yes. Well, I will tell you this, Doctor. Anybody who has you as their doctor is very lucky and very blessed, because you are using the best of everything. Your scientific background, your training as a doctor, and your intuition, which is, I mean, that's a winning combination for any patient. It's got to be thrilled.
Well, thank you. That's nice to hear. Thank you.
Yes, it's true. I mean, there's so many medical mysteries, and I think the only way to get to the bottom is sometimes, yeah, you know that, right?
Yeah, you have to play a hunch. You have to go with your gut. You know, we fool around, say it's our spider sense is tingling. You know, it's just it's another sense. It's not the five that we deal with, but it's something else that's cueing you in a certain direction. That's the best way I can describe it. I wouldn't.
Yes.
I'm not. I don't have the ego to say it's my sixth sense, but it's just a gut feeling, something that kind of leads you in the right direction, but you can't put your finger on what's telling you to do that.
Yes. Yeah, and some people have that inner voice turned way up so they can hear it all the time, and some people don't want to be bothered, and they turn the volume way down, and like you said, then they pay the price for that. So, yeah. So where do things stand now with these entities?
So, great question. Ever since, I guess we'll say that blowout in the ICU, it seems like that's the best it was like a big going away party for these entities. After that happened, it was kind of quite chaotic, emotional experience, and then things just died. It's funny. Soon after that, I met my current wife, and like I said, I think she has some type of neutralizing power. She's never had an experience in her life. We've gone out to try to look for things, and nothing ever happens when she's around. So I don't take her anywhere. If I go on some type of investigation, she stays home. She cancels it out for whatever. And we joke about this all the time.
Cute.
That is so funny.
So, in the hospital, it's as of lately, there's little activity here and there that I'm picking up on because I'm cued into it now, whereas maybe 10 years ago I wouldn't have been. We had a fascinating, just a great little side story, and these are the things I'm just paying attention to. Not that long ago, I'm on the respiratory floor, and again, there's there's, I don't know, maybe 30 rooms. Most of them are single rooms. So one room is this lovely patient. She has end-stage dementia. Lovely, can't have a conversation with her anymore, unfortunately. So she's just sitting there, and I go to see her. Hi, how are you? And she's like, oh, I'm great. Mrs. Jones, 3 doors down, just passed away. And I didn't even know this. I'm like, haha, how do you know? She's like, someone came for her. Like, who? And she smiled and wouldn't say anything. I got the chills, walked out, just like, okay, let's see. Walked down, and the nurse just pronounced her. Things like that, little things where she saw something. She's like, yes, he came for her, meaning someone took her. Fascinating, something like that. Another thing, not that long ago, I'm in the hospital. It's a weekend, so it's pretty quiet. I get out of the elevator, and I hear someone yelling to me, please help me. And I turn around thinking it's someone joking with me. There's no one there. No one on the floor. It's dead quiet but me. So things are starting to pick up a little bit. I just don't know what to make of it. Now, again, this just could be the normal traffic that I'm just not normally aware of, to be determined.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
well,
know, nothing
again,
at home.
they're seeing you. They see you. You don't see them for the most part.
Right.
You see
Right.
those dark entities, but like somebody asking for your help, you don't see them, but they see you.
Yeah.
Very
I know. I'd
interesting.
love
Now,
to help them.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure, and that's why they're coming to you. Now, this, I think I asked you this off the air, and please, you don't have to mention the hospital unless you want to, but this happened primarily in one hospital, right?
Yes, in New London. Yes, Lawrence and Memorial Hospital. Yes.
Okay. And is that a particularly old hospital?
Oh yeah, turn of the century. There's a lot of new to it, but there's a lot of old buildings. You know, and so there's a lot of activity there. And not just me. You know, now that people kind of know a little bit about my experiences, people are kind of offering their own experiences to me, and they're just coming up unsolicited. They're like, "Hey, I had this happen to me," or "Hey," so it's interesting how much is really going on. So, you know, initially I thought, "Oh boy, my career is over," but now it's the opposite. Now people are coming up and they're sharing their stories with me because they feel like they can.
Exactly.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an older hospital.
Healing.
But in New London, it's an old area. Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's like, yes, let's talk about that. Again, I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is, but let's try to maybe figure this out together.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah. And I will tell you something that may help with the dark entities that you don't know quite what they are yet. We have a guest we have on quite frequently. His name is Lon Duquette, and he is a very famous writer and a master of occult sciences. He just knows a lot. And he's very funny. We love having him on the show because he makes us laugh like crazy.
Helpful.
Yes, but one of the things that he said that really stuck with both PK and I is that it's our job. It is our job to change that darker energy, that those entities need our help to change into the light. And so he said it's up to us to do that. That's part of the reason we're here. So it's, of course, these things can be frightening. And we've certainly heard enough stories and had our own experiences to know what that's like. But on the other side of that, we have the power to eventually identify them and change their nature, because I can't imagine anything really wants to be like that. So
I couldn't either.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting comment that he's made, and it's really stuck with both of us, PK and I. And so all of these scary things, I mean, yeah, we can amp up the frightening part of it, and it certainly can be. However, there's this other side.
Yeah, I just wish they would say something to me. You know, at least like I said, my phone was thrown, my stethoscope was thrown. Like, you have my attention.
Yeah.
You know,
now, what do you want to tell me?
Right. Never got an answer.
Right. I mean, I think with a situation like this, normally I would say to somebody, you can get their information through dreams, but I'd be very cautious with that right now, because you still don't know exactly what you're dealing with, and you don't want to invite it in to another realm of your own consciousness. Yeah. Right.
That's my. I don't know if fear is the right word, but just I don't know what it is. So I'm quite hesitant to open things up.
It's also, I mean, we've been through this with a lot of people. It's also within your right to set the boundaries and to demand answers. You know, so, for example, you can say, you have to give me your name. What's your name? And I'm not going to talk to you until you give me your name. And that's
Never thought of that.
So so it becomes a boundary issue where you can set that line and say to them, look, you know, I'm interested in what you have to say, but you have to tell me who you are. What is your name? And there's other things. Obviously, you were raised Catholic, so you know you can call upon Jesus to protect you, and all of those things. It works.
Oh, it certainly does.
Definitely works.
Yeah,
so
I've noticed that a few times.
Yeah, so you have that background and you have that experience that works. If things get dicey, you can definitely change the game with the name of Jesus Christ. And I would say, again, it's up to you to set the boundaries with these entities that have noticed you. They noticed you when they came into the room. Obviously, they were there for that guy and that elderly man who was about to pass. But they saw you. So it's like,
right.
oh.
I guess saw what I saw. But, it's funny, right? They saw me. I didn't see that. But, again, when he saw them, I did not. They just made themselves known to me a few days after. And then it kind of ramped up. But I just assumed he saw them because they don't have eyes, so he was right. That's I see anyway.
Yes. There's so much mysterious energy in this world. There's there's questions about the interdimensionals, questions about ETs. I mean, there's so much to explore, and it's all fascinating. And it's all part of the same tapestry. So
that's what I think. These experiences have really opened my mind up to all this. All UFOs, UAPs, interdimensional. Even you mentioned earlier Bigfoot. All these things. I'm like, wonder if there's a common thread here. We just can't quite.
We haven't seen it yet.
I can't quite sense this.
Right. Yeah. Well, and again, a lot of it is because we get so darn scared. It's understandable why. But when fear comes in, then everything else goes out the window. So it's really great that you found ways to sort through this and keep your head about you. Oh gosh.
Yeah. No, it took me a while. It was rough for a while. I really thought I was losing my mind.
Did your wife think
you don't have that support?
Yes, and with your first wife, who unfortunately you got divorced from, what did she think you were nuts? Or did she just get sick of it? Okay.
She didn't know what to think initially, but then after a while she got sick of it because she wasn't seeing what I was seeing, but she was feeling what I was feeling. If that makes sense. She was feeling the dread. She was noticing temperature changes, but not quite seeing anything. That's why for a while I was like, oh goodness, maybe I am losing it. But again, when the patient saw it, I saw it, and then some validation later on with the the ICU. That kind of helped. But that it is what it is. But I've moved on. Been happily married now, and like I said, she is my ghost neutralizer. So I keep her next to me at night.
Oh, that's great. That is so funny. There is another doctor we should introduce you to. His name is Dr. Gallagher, and he is a psychiatrist in the New York area. And he's been on the show a couple of times. You might want to listen to that interview. He
remember that.
Actually, there is a film made by Blumhouse Productions that's going to be coming out soon about his experience with somebody who is possessed. And when they have a question about is somebody possessed or is this mental illness, because that's the big question. He's the one they call. The priests call him.
Oh, fascinating.
And say, which one is it?
That's interesting. We had a case not too long ago. It was a woman who was acting quite strange, and the priest thought she might have been possessed. She turned out she wasn't, but he actually came back with someone else. So it goes on. It goes on. I just happened to see it. Priest was like, her mannerism, her language seemed kind of like that old timey English, and she wasn't quite current. And he had a feeling she might have been possessed, but luckily she wasn't. But it's out there.
Oh, yes. So we'll have to get you in touch with Dr. Gallagher as well. It is fascinating how, that these doctors, are at the forefront of this, and you are too, because of your experience. And as a result of their coming forward and you coming forward, it makes it so much easier for, as you found out, for other people to do the same, other people in your profession to do this. Because there's a lot on the to lose here.
Oh, gosh. And again, I felt this was so fantastic, shadow things and the phones being thrown. I really thought people would reject more than anything else because the story sounds out there, if I may. No, it's, the beginning it was more kind of like, a little sneer here or there. But now it's really much more acceptance and people have just been sharing with me. So it's very nice.
That is terrific, and I know
and opened my mind to kind of explore and research what's out there.
Yes, exactly, and it's nice that you'll be meeting these people who are doing that, and I know especially Dr. Kolbaba, he's going to really want to talk to you about your experience, and I'm sure you're going to want to read his book that catalogs so many experiences of doctors, and again, how they didn't want to tell anybody because of the fear of rejection and judgment and losing their jobs. But thank goodness, I think we're getting beyond that. So,
yes,
hooray!
Thank goodness.
Well, Dr. Crispino, this has been such a wonderful evening. This is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was a pleasure. It really was.
Yeah, this has been great for us and our audience. Yes. And please keep us posted so that as you go onward. Yes, and as you go forward.
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely.
Because I think there's so much more that's going to unfold from this and in a positive way. So
good. I hope so.
Yes, this has been great. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, watch the Travel Channel, Haunted Hospitals, Season 2, Episode 1. And then the other one, Dr. Crispino, is which one?
Season 3, Episode 8. That one goes into the COVID time with the ICU experience.
Excellent. Well, yes, Travel Channel's lucky they found you. We're lucky we found you. So I want to do a shout-out to my friend Steve, who told me about you because he watched the show and was so impressed. So, anyways.
Well, thank you both. It really was a pleasure, and I love your podcast. Thank you so much.
It was a delight.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Good night. And everybody, we'll be back next week with another great show. Next week, time travel. It's going to be another great one. And until then, happy Halloween, and we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural Girls.